Welcome to the Lonestar Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. This is episode 27, I believe we're on now. Our guest this week is Amanda Grace Hughes. She is working with Texans for responsible marijuana policy, and she is on the committee for the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference, which will be taking place March 4th through the 6th at College Station. I'm joined by co-host Austin Zamhariri. How's everybody doing this week?
Great, Jesse. I'm so glad to be here. How are y'all?
Wonderful. Thank you for being here, and very excited about this event that's going down in T-minus 10 days, I think.
I know, it's getting close.
I'm just wondering what the weather will be like, being as we have like the lottery numbers of weather again. We went
I know today was in the 80s in DFW.
Yeah, it was hot. It was muggy outside today.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 84 degrees here in Austin today. We had like 30-degree weather like 2 days ago.
I think it's going to be icy here, like Wednesday night or Thursday.
We're supposed to get a wintry mix on Wednesday, Thursday. Who knows what that looks like?
I love that phrase, wintry mix. It makes it sound really fun.
Right. It's supposed to get down into like 25, 26 degrees again. So
it's so festive. It's a wintry mix.
Mm-hmm, exactly. It makes it sound like it's a party.
Man, Texas, you know how it is. We can get all four seasons literally in a week.
Or in a day.
In a day, yeah.
You can't have 4 seasons in a year. Hold my beer, says Texas. So let's talk about this cannabis policy conference that's happening at College Station, correct?
I would love to. Really excited about the location. This is the first policy conference that's been live since 2019. So having us at A&M is really, really special. I think the Soil and Crop Department at A&M is sponsoring us to be there. And it's March 4th, so that's a Friday. There's an evening event, a reception, and then it runs through till Sunday, till end of the day on Sunday. It's, I know both of you have some idea what the conference is like, but I really feel like it's special. Like, I think it's really a special event for advocates to come and connect with people that they don't normally have the opportunity to connect with that many people at once. So giving attendees like the presenters and the sponsors and the advocates and legislators and state regulators and cannabis attorneys and healthcare professionals, and I'm going to leave some people out, but researchers, veterans, cultivators, you get the idea. Friday, there's a reception, Friday evening, and the attorneys, Hudson and Harris, you know who they are, the Don't Eat Your Weed guys. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yes, I love that. So they're entertaining us on Friday at the reception. And then Saturday afternoon, there's an opening session and then breakout sessions for the remainder of the day. And then we'll wrap up the auction, which I can discuss separately, but we'll wrap up the auction and sort of close it that evening. And then there's a banquet Saturday night. And then Sunday, again, more breakout sessions all day. And then, of course, a closing session at the end of the day. Lots and lots of good speakers. And I am so afraid I'm going to leave someone out that I'm going to pull it up right here on my computer.
Yes, don't dare leave anybody out. We need to know all the nitty gritty.
I know. So, and I just found out today that I'm going to present in a breakout session. So I'm certainly not leaving myself out.
What is the website, real quick, that you were going to?
TexasCannabisConference.org.
And that's Texas with a spelled out, correct?
Spelled out, TexasCannabisConference.org. So we'll typically call it the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. Leave the word policy out for the website. So it's TexasCannabisConference.org. Got that? Got it. Okay, so let's go to our featured speakers. Moody. So Representative Moody is speaking. Representative James White, also, he's from the Houston area. Wow, the screen's going real slow, but I want to get you some good ones. So Chef Brandon Allen is going to do a demo of infused cannabis. I don't know what he's cooking up. Brennan Avance, or is it Avance? I think it's Avance. He is a veteran. He's going to speak. I have, of course, representatives from some cannabis organizations that you would expect, like Jack Finkel from Texas NORML and Major David Bass from Texas Veterans for Medical Marijuana. I have Terrence Bell, who is a patient advocate for Good Blend, one of our teacup providers. Chase Bearden. I think Chase is, maybe he's a keynote. I can't remember on Sunday. I think maybe he is, but it's funny because I know him with many hats as well. So I'm going to read you what it says. Deputy Director of CTD Chase. Chase is called on for research, policy analysis, and recommendations. I love hearing him speak. I think he's a passionate
Coalition
speaker.
of Texans with Disabilities, if I remember correctly.
Yep,
Yes,
thank you.
We've traversed the Capitol many times with Chase and that team.
I love hearing him talk. It's just an impressive speaker. I have Lisa Bueno also with the Texas for, he's outreach for the Texas Cannabis Collective.
Oh, yeah.
She is and founder of Veterans Education, Educating Texas. I could do this all day long, but if you go to the page, you can click on speakers and see several, like I'd say 2 or 3 dozen different speakers in the industry. And I think I'm probably most excited about Max Montrose. He is from the Trichome Institute, and I love to hear him talk about cannabinoids and the science of the plant. So I really think that the speakers, there's just such a huge variety of speakers and something everyone will be interested in. So whether you're in this industry for entrepreneurial or business reasons or advocacy or education, or you're a cultivator, et cetera, I think that there's going to be something for everybody.
I would be looking forward to Max Montrose as well.
Yeah.
Primarily because my thing lately has been about not just THC profile, but terpenes and dealing with cannabinoids. And
absolutely,
there's just been too much of this thing where people think quality is high THC when in reality it's not.
Absolutely. 100%. I teach cannabis education, and that's kind of what I do. And I give like this real simplistic scenario of, if you had 2 different strains of cannabis, and let's say they had identical cannabinoid profiles, like the THC, CBG, CBD, everything, the ratio was identical in one strain and then the other, but the terpene profiles were completely different, then those are 2 completely different products with 2 completely different results. Yeah. A lot of the education that I pass on, I think, comes from Dr. Ethan Rousseau. I've probably absorbed everything that's come out of his mouth tenfold. And we actually have in our silent auction, we actually have some products from a new CBD line he launched, but he teaches terpene heavy. And I think that that's where the magic is, right? That's where the nuances of the effects of the plant come in. And just having the cannabinoids, it's like, if you were to get vitamin C from a whole foods diet, or if you were to get it in a pill, right? If you get it in a whole foods diet, your body more recognizes it, absorbs 100% of it, assuming you have a healthy GI. So it's just kind of the difference between a whole plant versus isolating compounds.
Right. I was just going to say that, and what I love most about this is transferring from this idea of indica, sativa, a hybrid dominance of both, because in reality, per everybody's endocannabinoid system and how these cultivars work differently with people, that system is kind of becoming. We're working more and more towards that becoming an obsolete measuring stick.
Absolutely. It's pretty dated. I mean, pretty much everything is a hybrid now, right?
Absolutely.
I like that people still kind of use the word indica and sativa if they're going to use it to imply a feeling or to imply how it affects their body, but it's not a botanical classification really most of the time when they're saying that. So if they're using these terms to sort of just as a communication measure and not really like a scientific measurable data measure, then that works.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I get kind of frustrated when I see people so, oh, you mean indica's gonna make me tired? And it's like there's
Yeah.
indicas that are not going to do that because of their terpene
Dude.
profiles.
Right. There's some indicas that'll light you up and make you clean your whole house.
Well, I feel like it's, these saying something's indica or saying something is sativa, that's kind of the grower may say that or the dispensary may say that based on the nuanced feelings that it gives you. But if we could just break down the terpene profile of every plant and sort of agree, that limonene is uplifting and makes you happy, and linalool is more sedating and makes you restful, then we could determine the possible outcome of using this particular cultivar versus the other particular cultivar with just the terpene profiles and kind of get rid of the names, because the name was originally a botanical classification that is just not really, there's really no standard indica plant or no standard sativa plant to measure these other ones against to see genetically is that what they are. Does that make sense?
I like how you said, yes, I love how you said that there's no standard. There's no universal sativa plant that we can always go back and look at and say,
and measure.
This is the bare bones. It has to meet these things to be this.
We hybrided out that.
Yeah. As everywhere else in science, we have some sort of like weights and measurements. We have something that we can go back and look at and say, this is the base of it. This is where you start from.
Yeah, and it's misunderstanding that people think, oh well, indicas, since they sedate me, they must be higher in THC. It's just ridiculous. That there's a lot of misinformation. So that's something that you can learn at the policy conference and pursue. We're in this unregulated industry, right? So it's the wild, wild west as far as people's interpretation of definitions sometimes. And hopefully, if we can get more reform, we can change a lot of that and apply some regulated terms.
You almost can't really identify, though, who the experts are by some of the vernacular that they use and some of the ways that they talk about the science and the plant. And you can already, for people who've been doing this for a long time, you can hear and you're like, oh wow, they know exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, especially if you're open to learning and you're not just stuck in thinking that indica exclusively means indica. Yeah, open your mind, right?
Well, we're going to go and
learn new things.
We're going to go into our first break here at the Lonestar Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams, joined by co-host Austin Zamhariri. Our guest this week, Amanda Grace Hughes. The Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy. She's on the committee for the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. We will be right back. We would like to take a moment to talk about the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. The Texas Cannabis Policy Conference gathers thought leaders and experts in the rapidly changing landscape of cannabis legalization. The event, hosted at Texas A&M University, is happening this spring, March 4th through the 6th, 2022. Attendees will include cannabis business owners, entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and allied health professionals. For more information, event details, and registration, visit www.texascannabisconference.org.
Oak Cliff Cultivators is a sponsor of Texas Cannabis Collective and Lonestar Collective podcast. Oak Cliff focuses on quality assurance with their hemp products while providing customer service to help you discover cannabinoids to meet your needs. Their product line includes hemp flower pre-rolls, CBG tinctures, edibles, Delta 8, and merch. For more information on their products' quality or to shop online today, visit oakcliffcultivators.com or contact them at info@oakcliffcultivators.com.
Welcome back to the Lonestar Collective podcast, distributed on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and much more, to give Texans information regarding policy, industry, and culture. Here is this week's host, Jesse Williams and Austin Zamhariri.
Welcome back to the Lonestar Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams, joined by co-host Austin Zamhariri. Our guest this week, Amanda Grace Hughes. This is episode 27, I believe. We took a week off, but we're back, and we're back from our break.
Real quick, you can also now start saying award-winning podcasts.
Oh yeah, emotional damage. Yes, our award-winning podcast. We won an award from the Texas Hemp Awards for Best Production.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really like the video that goes with the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. For everybody who's listening to the podcast, who listens to this, you can go to our YouTube channel, Texas Cannabis Collective. We post up the video we make of these because we do Zoom calls and we record them. They get edited, and in little breaks, we actually make videos now to go with these little announcements, these little sponsor breaks. And I really like the video that goes with the Cannabis Policy Conference. So I recommend if you're listening, go check that out.
I haven't seen that. I'm going to check that out.
I know it was in our last one. Mihaela Plaza. That video definitely went in there for there.
Yeah, we've talked to a lot of wonderful individuals over 27 episodes now. And hopefully, like, this will be a recurring one every year as we're doing the policy conference again. We will be investigating everything up to that point. And what I feel is so dynamic about this one is that in the past, they've always been in Austin, which obviously the city of Austin, very synonymous with cannabis culture. And, we get Austin as weird, all of that. But to have something like this move to an institution, let alone College Station,
in a very conservative town,
very conservative place, but for that to happen is it's just mind blowing.
Isn't it crazy?
It takes it next level for me, to be honest.
I think so too. I thought about that too, and also when I heard that the agricultural program was going to bring some live hemp plants to the conference, so people can see them, touch them, smell them, and then I think there's going to be some lab testing done right on the spot, and so people can watch that too. But I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to have cannabis plant in College Station and a cannabis policy in College Station. The town's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same.
I mean, I don't think the state's going to be the same. If we have places like Texas A&M and Texas Tech and other major institutions that are investing heavily in hemp research, and I think you're really going to see a lot of the attitudes change when it comes to the rest of the plant, to the whole plant. And so, like I always say, it's a matter of when, not if. And places like Texas A&M and that kind of respected institution leading the way on this is only going to accelerate that process.
Absolutely. And just the exposure. The last time we did this in person in 2019 was a hotel, I guess, in
Sheraton.
Austin. Thank you. And I remember feeling like there was an enormous amount of people that I know that was their first cannabis related event in Texas. Because I would speak to them and ask them, what's their interest or their level of involvement. And there were so many new people. And here we are, 2 years later, people are anxious to do some in-person events, right? And we're expecting, 200 to 300 people. And I think that there's just going to be so many new faces, people that each time we have, and even like at the event this past Saturday where I saw you, there were so many new faces.
Yes.
So growth is key. And if all those people vote, then we're in business.
Love seeing new faces rather than seeing the same old. It's good to see the same old faces because you get to catch up with people.
I'm so tired of y'all's faces. Give me some new people.
But new faces, like you said, growth.
Oh yeah. It's exciting. I want to talk about the silent auction for this event.
Oh yes, as I say, please inform us about the silent auction. What items have been put forward as well?
The reason I want to talk about that is because that's my committee, the silent auction committee. So the way we're doing the silent auction, it's live right now. I think we went live Saturday morning, and people can bid on and win and take home, have shipped to them or whatever their item is, whether they attend this policy conference or not. So it's I have a couple of different packages that are day gold hemp derived CBD, CBG, CBN, full terpene profile products that's Dr. Ethan Rousseau's business. These are, I am really excited about those because of the terpenes. I have some original art. I have a tiny home vacation on Lake Texoma for 2 nights. I have a vegan tamale package. I have a hemp package from Mary J in Austin. Photography session with Kelsey Lee. She is an avid cannabis advocate and patient here. I have, this is cool. I did this a couple weeks ago. So American Shaman, CBD American Shaman in Coppell, they donated a basket full of hemp CBD products, but they also donated some float therapy sessions because they have a big salt float tank. Have y'all seen those, or are you familiar with those?
This is Kyle Strubig, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to him.
Yeah. So I went, and when I went and picked up the basket and did the salt float, it was pretty badass. Well, so I was talking about the float, and it's just hard to describe. So they donated some float sessions. I have a private yoga class. My house rep, Victoria Nieve, District 107, has donated a big Texas flag. Her office donated that. I have a Texas hemp product basket, which is really cool. It has, I think it was 6 different companies. Oak Cliff Cultivation is one. I can't remember. I'd have to click on this and look it up. But there were several Texas hemp companies that have donated for that basket, and it's in a Texas shaped basket. Texas Normal Gear. What else? Oh, there's a vibrational sound healing session, which sounds so vague, but also really badass. It's it's someone who does like vibrational sound healing and uses a multitude of mostly percussive instruments. And they're offering a session, like a group session. So you could have a party and have that there.
I'm not gonna lie. What's on my mind is you mentioned the float session thing, and for those of us who grew up with The Simpsons, the episode where Homer and Lisa go to the float session, and it's a psychedelic trip for Lisa, and it's a physical trip for Homer. With my luck, I'd be Homer.
So it was a little bit of both. I mean, in a subtle way, it was a little bit of both, I would say. But I haven't seen that episode, so I'm kind of glad I haven't, because then I would have been thinking about it the whole time, right? But it's really cool. And then I have Something else I haven't put in I just started getting the details. I wanted the person who donated this, I wanted them to approve, what I wrote about it, but it's an experience for a group to go to A&M to a lab and have a tour in like their hemp department. Isn't that cool?
Ooh, yes.
It's really, yes.
Yeah, so I'll put that one up tomorrow. I just need to get a couple of details from them, and then y'all can go bid on it.
You don't mind me asking, who is the lab?
Well, it's A&M, so rare earth. It's I can give you some details. I just got to click on my.
Rare earth.
It's Mason Berry donated it, but we haven't put all the details in yet. So.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Yes.
Stay
Stay
tuned.
tuned. TexasCannabisConference.org.
Yeah. So the silent auction actually is on a different website, but it's real easy to find. It's you can go to, like, I've been sharing it everywhere. Y'all are probably getting me sick of sharing it on your Texas Cannabis Collective page, but
Love, no, you do it more.
I've been sharing it every time I add an item. I reshare everything.
Keep doing it.
And then Lisa and I went live last night on my group, and I shared it on your page too. But 32 auctions, the number 3, the number 2, 32auctions.com. It's on there. And all you would have to do is search Texas Cannabis Policy Conference, or you could probably just put in Texas Cannabis and find it. But I'll share it all over again almost every day. So what we're going to do is you can start bidding now. So anybody, even if they're not attending, like I said, can bid and win items. And then I'll close the auction on Saturday evening. Probably, I think we have it set to close at 4 and contact winners or announce winners. And I think that we've already got bids on here, which as soon as I posted it, I posted it Saturday morning. And then Saturday evening, I had to go back on and see if we had any bids, and we did. So I felt pretty gratified. Yeah. So cool stuff.
Well, I will find
ahead.
this. I will find this link whenever you
send
post
it to
it, and I will put it in the video. You'll find it down at the bottom where I'm talking at now, so people can find it.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, you do like show notes and all that good stuff, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
To be a nice little lower third, goes at the bottom with the details.
I'll make sure and send it to you today. So
We
you
like to
have
make
it.
assets. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm so glad y'all had me on. This is fun. I'm sorry we missed Lisa.
It's okay. I mean, we just wanted to make sure that we amplified, obviously we're a supporting sponsor of this event. We believe very heavily in the mission of what is the objectives that are trying to be achieved, which, for us are policy, industry, and culture. And, in years past, even with during COVID, when there were, it was a virtual session, it was still fantastic, still the creme de la creme of people you want to know in the Texas cannabis space from, an industry or policy standpoint. And so, of course, we wanted to make sure that this was on our agenda. We're all over the place. We've got work right now in San Marcos, Denton. I think that we're trying to work on amplifying the May 7th vote in Austin to decriminalize. And so, there's legalization in New Mexico, which we're going to be a part of. So we have a lot of work that's going on around that. We wanted to make sure that this was something that we really highlighted along the way. Very important.
Great. I love, it's a little bit cliche, but I really do love that we all really work together and sincerely boost and promote each other. It's a nice feeling, I think, in this space where if I don't know the answer or know someone, I'll find you someone that knows the answer. That's always the feeling. Always. It's so great.
People to other people who can help that individual out for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One thing I wanted to make sure and mention, because I forgot earlier, is for the admission cost for the event. So right now it ranges between $99 and $249. It will cover all 3 days, but it just depends on, the general admission will include the welcome reception, coffee every day, open session, breakout session, closing session. All access will add also the keynotes and breakfast and lunch during the keynotes. And then Saturday night, there's an awards banquet. And then the VIP, which is $299, there will be priority seating. So all the breakout sessions, you'll have good front row seats. And a VIP cocktail party, which is cool because you can rub elbows with speakers and really get up close and personal and meet them. But there is free. I'm going to make sure that it's on the website before I tell you. It is. Okay, so there's general admission that is free for students, A&M students or college students, patients, and veterans. So if you're a college student, a cannabis patient, or a veteran, it's free to you. You still need to go on and register. You'll just choose that general admission free that you qualify for. And you still have to register though. So
we're going to go into our next sponsor break here at the Lonestar Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. This is episode 27. We will be right back after this sponsor break. We would like to take a moment to talk about the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. The Texas Cannabis Policy Conference gathers thought leaders and experts in the rapidly changing landscape of cannabis legalization. The event, hosted at Texas A&M University, is happening this spring, March 4th through the 6th, 2022. Attendees will include cannabis business owners, entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and allied health professionals. For more information, event details, and registration, visit www.texascannabisconference.org.
Oak Cliff Cultivators is a sponsor of Texas Cannabis Collective and Lonestar Collective podcast. Oak Cliff focuses on quality assurance with their hemp products while providing customer service to help you discover cannabinoids to meet your needs. Their product line includes hemp flower pre-rolls, CBG tinctures, edibles, Delta 8, and merch. For more information on their products' quality or to shop online today, visit oakcliffcultivators.com or contact them at info@oakcliffcultivators.com.
Welcome back to the Lonestar Collective Podcast, distributed on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and much more, to give Texans information regarding policy, industry, and culture. Here is this week's host, Jesse Williams and Austin Zamhariri.
Welcome back to the Lonestar Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams, joined by co-host Austin Zamhariri. Our guest this week is Amanda Grace Hughes, who's joined us on behalf of Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy. She's on the committee for the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. This is episode 27, and we are in our last segment. How is everybody doing?
It's kind of went a little bit fast.
Totally did.
It's what happens when you have a great engaged guest who, has been doing this a long time.
Who likes to talk?
We've got a long working friendly relationship. So it's always when we get together and we get to chat, it's always seems like it's very fluid and we pick up where we left off and
absolutely.
And almost every time it's like, oh man, 3 hours went by. That was what happened.
I know. And you never even seem bothered by the fact that I'm in love with your wife too.
She's
She's the best.
She is the best. She's
the best.
She's the captain of the ship, to be honest with you. She keeps everything going and is able to, really, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to handle the kind of workload that I'm able to handle. So she's the real MVP of this family. That's for sure.
She is amazing. On Saturday when you sort of handed the mic to me and Lisa to talk about this, and we went on and on, I thought, oh, I wonder if he expected us to never shut up, because that's what it felt like we did. So thank you for doing that.
Of course. That was my goal. I only had, to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting that many people to be there, to truly be honest with you, because I did not do a great marketing job on that.
Well, when I saw the traffic and the parking, I thought there wouldn't be a lot of people because of that.
Me too. But, that was the beginning. In the Chiba Hut crowd, they loved it. I got rave reviews from Chiba Huts.
The food wasn't bad. I took some food home and ate it.
Yeah, they, that whole place is great, and hopefully we can do that again next month. And you're a registrar, correct?
I am. So, I am registered, strangely enough. I'm registered in Travis County and Denton County. And then the reason I'm not registered in Dallas County is because the 2 times I've gone down there, because when you're registered in one county, you can just take your information and go into another county courthouse and say, I want to be at one here. But there was some bureaucracy nonsense when I went down there. So I need to go back in and do my Dallas one, but I'll do it before. It's on my schedule to do after this conference, because literally there's been.
So you're a registrar. You're a registrar.
I'm a volunteer. I'm a volunteer deputy registrar. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
Good. We're going to utilize that for sure.
Yeah. So I did that during when COVID first hit us in 2020, because I'd always kind of wanted to do it. And there was Travis County put it on. And so whatever county you take the training course in, you're automatically certified in that county. And then you can go to other counties and do it too. You just got to go in person. And sometimes that's difficult. Right.
Hayes made it strangely, I don't want to say difficult, but they've made it to where they don't, from my understanding, I guess Travis County does one almost every week. Hayes County, I think, does one a month. And when I was living in Hayes County, they basically, every time I got ready to go, they're like, oh, we canceled it this month. You're pretty much the only person who signed up. And I'm like,
so you can do it in another county. You can do it in another county and then go to Hayes County. You're probably in their courthouse, and then say, look, I'm already a VDR in this county, and they don't you don't have to retrain for each county.
Well, yeah, because voting laws are the same regardless where you go at the state.
Exactly. So it was nice because I got to do it online, because I had looked into it before, and it was always in person and usually on a Saturday, and then I work on Saturdays usually. So, but yep, that's me. Fun fact. Another fun fact is the reason I work on Saturdays is because I own a spa. And the fun fact that comes out of that is I am going to be a presenter in a breakout session discussing cannabis for skincare and topical use. So I'm excited to do that, because I kind of do that whether people ask me to or not. I kind of talk about that in any way. So I'm excited to do it.
That'd be great. You get to talk about acne and eczema and psoriasis and things of that nature, don't you?
Yeah, big words. Yep, that's what I do. There was 2 other ones that I think will be really popular, 2 other breakout sessions. One is marijuana laws in the state, and then federally. And then also a workshop on volunteering with your candidates and sort of getting involved with your reps. So I think both of those should be well attended.
Anything you would like to ask, Austin?
This is kind of a loaded question, so give me the 2 to 3 minute synopsis. But what brought you in? I always like to ask this of our guests, like, what brought you into cannabis? Like what?
So I think that we've probably had this conversation, but now you want me to put it into 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, and go.
Or less.
So, okay. Oh God. Okay. So I'm an herbalist. Okay. So I'm a plant enthusiast, and I use herbs and plants for healing and nutrition. And I had some pretty serious health issues in 2016, 17, and had 3 turned out to be unnecessary surgeries, and had 5 not wonderful doctors. Each doctor got a little better, but and got washed my hands of that and said, forget it. Y'all are not practicing your medicine on me anymore. And started finding ways to heal my body myself. And I had always been just like a recreational pot smoker, like occasionally parties, vacations, stuff like that. And I understood that there was cannabinoid medicine, but I didn't know how it worked. Well, I explored that as an option to add to my already plant herb-based supplements. And my numbers and my blood work and my health began to improve. I began to feel better. And so I dove deep into including education and certifications to understand cannabinoid medicine and how it works in your body, so that I could explain to these doctors and to other patients. And I like to talk. And if I think I can give you some information that'll help you, I want to know what I'm talking about. And so I began to educate on it. So then I got deeper into, well, I have all these herbs and this is just another plant. Why don't we have access to it? And I became incredibly fired up on the advocacy side, because if we don't advocate for the cannabis reform and changing the laws in Texas, then that's all we're going to do is talk about it. We're not going to actually have access to use it for medicine. So I believe in more than just a medical program. I believe in total access, and because I believe in the freedom, and wholeheartedly disagree with the reason that plant's not free. We need to make reparations for that. So that was probably more than 2 or 3 minutes, but that's in a nutshell.
That's great.
Are there any final thoughts you yourself would like to talk about? This is your point. This is your part. It's all you here, Amanda. Anything
Me,
you'd like to plug?
love it. I actually just want to plug how important it is to get involved. If we do not get involved in changing the laws in Texas, then they will not change. If we do not seek out the representatives that are on our side, and then hold them to it, hold their feet to the fire, and make sure that they do what they say they will on this topic. And if they don't, then vote them out. We can point fingers all day long. Truly, we all know Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is a big problem with this cannabis reform. But then our individual reps, we need to, that a lot of people don't even know who their reps are. So finding out who your reps are and then approaching them before the midterm elections to see how they stand on cannabis in Texas, and that'll help you know who to vote for. Politics are sometimes intimidating for people, confusing for people, boring for people, time consuming for people. But for the issues that you're passionate about, for me, before I was doing cannabis work, I had done a lot of LGBTQ advocacy. And so I understood a little bit about, how it works and why it matters. That was a really hard uphill battle in Texas, especially 10 years ago. And so is this. But I think that, we are gaining some traction in each session. We are getting some breadcrumbs, and, eventually, hopefully we'll have the freedom of the whole bread loaf, I guess. But if people do not get involved and vote their heart and vote their conscience, then we won't make the changes. It won't happen.
You are definitely preaching, for sure. Like this is that we bring to.
Yeah. It's a hard sell for some people, because people, they vote their tradition, or they just say, I hate politics, I don't want to get involved. Or the thing that, man, it just grinds my gears the worst is when someone says, well, I'm smoking weed all day and it's illegal, so I don't care if the laws change.
Right.
That is the worst. Yeah, that for me is the
Yeah.
worst, because that means you're basically telling me you're too selfish to care about anybody but yourself. Because there's people that need legal, safe access for their parents, for their caregivers, for their children. This involves
It's
everyone. And then, or just look at the economy, what this could do for the economy. So
it's even worse when they go as far as to make the comment of what you talked about, and then it's that on a story about somebody who got pulled over and had their car searched, and then like they start playing that person as being they're an idiot. And they're like, well, I don't get caught. It's not that hard. And it's like, yep, your number will be up sooner or later. And you'll
Yeah.
be in
right.
this group.
And that's a race issue also. That's going to get me on that soapbox. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, the amount of social injustice, and then just the health issues here. I mean, I grow medicinal herbs in my yard, and I make medicinal herb products, and I consume them, and I give them to people, and I sell them, and they're improving people's health. People take them because it makes them feel better. And this is just another plant. It's just another plant. And to me, at the end of the day, it's that simple. It really is.
Well, we appreciate you giving us the time to be here this evening to talk about the
Thank you.
Cannabis Policy Conference, to talk about Texas for Responsible Marijuana Policy, talk about yourself, how you got into this, all of it. We really
Talk about
appreciate it.
beans, and yeah, we kind of
Talk.
we dove in kind of deep on some of the science. I like that.
So TexasCannabisConference.org.
TexasCannabisConference.org, y'all.
That's it.
And I will put, like I said, I will put in the lower third how to get to the silent auction in the video. And I will try to put that in the link for the description of the podcast as well. So that wraps it up for episode number 27. I'm your host, Jesse Williams, joined by co-host Austin Zamhariri. Our guest this week was Amanda Grace Hughes from Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy. She's on the committee for the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. That will be College Station, March 4th through the 6th. TexasCannabisConference.org for more information. Everybody have a great week. Adios.